right, Spreading the Floor, episode 53? 53?
54, I want to say.
54?
Something like that.
Something like that.
They're in the 50s. We're in the 50s.
Coop and Post is going to figure it out.
That's
but
right.
We are on the cusp of the playoffs. It's actually the first play-in game, or the two play-in games for the East are happening tonight.
That's right.
So we wanted to give our predictions for the playoffs in the same rapid-fire format that we usually do, the 2-minute 30 segments. Let's get into it. We'll start, I guess, let's start with the East, shall we?
Let's start with the East.
Let's start with the East, because that's what's happening tonight. Okay, here we go. 2 minutes. Setting the clock here. 2 minutes 30. Ready?
Go ahead.
Okay, first off, we got Indiana versus Charlotte. It is a one game. One game where the winner takes it all.
Yeah.
This is the playing game.
Right.
Who are we thinking?
I don't know. I think that LaMelo or Sabonis, you know, he could go off. I think one of them has a night that's really going to be the deciding factor, the game tonight.
That really is the theme of these playing games. That's why a lot
Yeah.
of people took issue with them. It takes away that competitiveness, I think, of a 7-game series, and it leaves it up more like an NFL theme type of thing where you can have a team come back. You can have a team have that Cinderella story.
Yeah.
Just if they have a good night, they can move on and they can get swept by whoever else is actually a decent team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a mixture of having a 7-game series and then, going on and then immediately getting swept by someone probably better. But I'd give it to Indiana. I mean, if you want to go off of who's the functionally more solid team, I think it's Indiana. I think Charlotte has been a very fun team to watch, and I think nothing's going to change from that tonight. I think we're going to see LaMelo and Miles Bridges and all them boys putting on highlight plays and all that stuff. But Indiana, they have pieces. I think a lot of people sleep on Indiana, honestly.
They do have pieces. And you know what? I'm one of them. I think that I'm actually going to take Charlotte. I could eat those words.
Interesting.
But I think that just in the playoffs, what you really need is that star power. And I think that Terry Rozier is gonna go out there.
Terry.
Yeah, I think Miles Bridges is going to go out there. I think LaMelo is going to go out there. And I don't think they're going to take any shit. I think they're just going to go straight for it. They're going to get their points, and I think that's what's going to be the deciding factor. I think Indiana's a great team. I just don't think that in a playoff setting they have that mental capacity to go out there and do it. You know,
I think a first round, because where Indiana has faltered before is it seems like they always make it into the playoffs, or they kind of had a good track record with that in the past, but they're never really consistent enough. I think in the same way that a lot of people are bashing this play-in game for it only being a one-game series, I think this gives Indiana an advantage. And also, if you want to talk about star power, Indiana has that star power. It's just people aren't looking at it. I mean, DeMontis Sabonis, who else? Miles Brogdon. Is it Miles Brogdon?
I take Miles Bridges, LaMelo, and Terry Rozier. And is Gordon Hayward still out?
I'm not sure.
I'd take the star power on the Hornets way before I take Indiana.
Okay, well, I'm going Indiana. You're going Charlotte.
Yep.
Those are our picks. I'm going to text you tonight about that.
Yeah,
and let's see who comes out on top for both games, because we got another interesting one here. 2 minutes 30 again on the clock. We got Boston versus Washington.
Yeah, you see, that's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, let me lead this off. So Boston, not Marcus Smart. Jaylen Brown is now out for the rest of the season. He was a huge component for them defensively and offensively.
Yes.
He was kind of the second part of that pairing of him and Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum. Yeah, I'm slow today. Him and Jason Tatum were lighting up the league, and they were. I think you could attribute a lot of the Boston Celtics wins to them. So him not being there is going to be huge for the Washington Wizards, who have picked up the pace a little bit.
Oh yeah, they're doing well. They're playing very well.
I never would have thought that, and it was funny too, because I was thinking it was the Celtics versus the Knicks I was watching the other night, and in past years it would have been so funny to think, hey, New York Knicks. Oh, that's a tough matchup for Boston.
Yeah.
You could say that now. You can say that with teams like Washington.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think Bradley Beal's also out, and he's injured.
Yeah, which is that's going to be big for
less
Washington.
Than stellar, yeah. So this to me is going to be a very, again, I think it comes down to that one night, that one game.
Who do you have?
Who comes out on top? I'd probably give it. I gotta go Boston. Maybe it's because I'm partial to Boston. I just don't know. Maybe Washington gets. I really can't tell you. And I wanted to bring this in. I didn't, really do any real thinking about this beforehand because I wanted to give you guys my organic reaction. And I'm sitting here. I honestly don't know who comes out on top tonight. I think Jason Tatum, if he has a terrific game, and I think if Marcus Smart can lock down defensively, I think the Celtics have a very decent bench that if they can hold on to a lead or they can climb back into the game, that could be the game for the Celtics.
Yeah.
If Washington keeps playing the way they've been playing, and if Brody keeps, I guess, anchoring that offense and the morale on the team, and they could somehow come out on top. I just don't know. And it's also the fact that again, this is one night. This is one shot. This is why the unpredictability factor is there for me.
I think the deciding factor for Washington would be Bradley Beal, but he's not playing.
He's not
so honestly, I got to go with the Celtics for this one.
Yeah. What is it? The leadership factor. It lies on Russell Westbrook's shoulders.
Yeah,
for sure.
And it's also just Russell Westbrook is going to have to take the bulk of the offense.
That's what I'm saying.
And he's a great player. I've sung his praises this season, but he hasn't really been doing that so much.
He can't.
I think he can, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
Dude, we've gone back to this every single episode. I love it. All right, ready? All right, we got the West now.
Yeah.
Playing game. Memphis versus San Antonio. This is an interesting one.
Yeah.
Two teams that really haven't received a lot of coverage this year.
Yeah. Well, the Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies have because of Ja, but I feel like San Antonio, they're so good at making it into the. I mean, Pop is such a great head coach.
Yeah.
They're so great at just making it in there and getting their foot in the door. However, I think Memphis gets this.
I think Memphis gets it too. I just don't think that San Antonio has what it takes. You know what I'm saying?
I think San Antonio keeps shooting themselves in the foot by making it into the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think if you're San Antonio, why not just rebuild? Why are you trying to?
Pop is not going to.
Yeah, that's
tank,
true. Pop doesn't.
Saying?
Pop's not one to tank, but I think the best course of action for them would be to try to rebuild at this point.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. And I think because of that, I think that Memphis really is kind of the better team in that matchup, regardless of regular season record.
Yeah.
And I think John Morant's going to go out there. I think he feels like he has something to prove. It's his second year. I think he wants 100%. To go out, and I think he wants to play well. I think he's going to go out there, and I think he's going to drop 35, 40.
Yeah,
maybe not that much. 30. I say 30.
And he has a solid supporting cast of characters around him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And same with San Antonio's solid. I just they don't. I don't think. Let's just say hypothetically they get past Memphis and they play the winner of the 9 and 10, or excuse me, I think they would play
the first seed.
They would play the first seed.
Yeah.
That's Utah. So that's,
So Utah wins that.
It's almost pointless.
Yeah.
But interesting matchup nonetheless. I like this matchup because I think there should be fireworks, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you have a guy like Ja in there. Very explosive, very athletic.
Yeah.
All that stuff. I think
Ja's gonna be grabbing rebounds. I think he's gonna be doing highlight plays. He's gonna be passing. He's gonna be scoring. So
I think it's funny because it's gonna almost be a similar situation to Indiana versus Charlotte. You have a team, except I'd say Memphis and San Antonio are both pretty solid. Whereas, in my personal opinion, Indiana is more solid than Charlotte. But it's gonna be two matchups where there's gonna be serious fireworks.
Yeah, absolutely.
And two players to watch.
Absolutely.
All right, we've got the Lakers versus Golden State Warriors, 7 versus the 8th seed. Who would have ever thought that this was going to happen?
It all comes full circle, man.
Lakers, though.
LeBron coming into the league, young Steph Curry at Davidson University, and LeBron going to see his games, and now it's the twilight of Steph Curry's career. LeBron is coming to a close, and they got to play to see who gets into the playoffs.
Do you think it's a twilight of Steph Curry's career?
Twilight? No, I'd say it's a little bit of a It's a little bit past his prime, I'd say. But he won the scoring title this year. I'm taking Warriors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm the biggest LeBron fan
But LeBron and AD are both back.
I understand.
You don't think that changes things?
I think it does change things. I think the biggest argument was who do you take in a one-game series? I think I'm taking Steph Curry. I think that LeBron, and I love LeBron and AD. I think they're both coming back from injury, and I could be totally wrong. I think that they could come back and tear it up. But
I think they are. I think the way that LeBron has looked, he came back like he never left.
Yeah, definitely to a certain extent. I think LeBron rather not make it to the playoffs than lose in the first round as well, though.
Then losing the wait, hold on, say it again. Sorry.
I think LeBron rather not make it to the playoffs than lose in the first round.
No, I think LeBron would rather make it into the playoffs because if you're LeBron, you're such a competitive guy, you always want a chance to claw your way back in. I just think that I don't know if LeBron's gonna let his. I think it always goes back to in the same way it's a one game opportunity. LeBron is not the man to let it slip.
No, I understand that.
We're going to see I think we're going to see a different type of LeBron.
But I mean, what I'm kind of thinking about is look back at those 2017 games between LeBron and Steph Curry. I mean, LeBron is good at clawing his way back. But Steph Curry in one game would go out there and just have a phenomenal shooting night, and nothing that LeBron's team could do would ever be able to keep up with that. I mean, who's guarding Steph Curry? You know what I'm saying? All it is a Draymond screen.
Who's guarding AD and LeBron though?
Oh, they got pieces down there. Wiggins is a good defender.
Yeah, but it's still AD and LeBron.
They have that. No, I understand. They're going to get their points.
Yeah.
They're going to do well. But I just see Steph Curry going off. And you know what? I'm the biggest LeBron fan ever, and I could be eating these words, but I honestly have the Warriors for this one.
I got the Lakers. I think both parties are going to go off, but I think it's going to come down to the fact that LeBron and AD, in the same way that Steph is, I'll give you that, they are game changers.
Yeah.
And I think once they decide that they want to win that game, perhaps in the same sense of Steph, but I think LeBron has that gene more so than Steph does. But I think all three of those gentlemen, if they so choose, can end the game single-handedly. Yeah. I just think when you're the Lakers and you have two guys like that on your team, that's pretty tough.
No, absolutely.
For the opposing team. Doesn't matter what you throw at them defensively. I mean, those guys will figure out a way in the same sense that they're going to, the defense is going to crash in on them whenever they're making movements, crashing towards, so that opens up opportunities for the Lakers.
My thing is just that I just think that Steph Curry is easily going to have 35.
I think so.
Probably more.
I think so, yeah.
He might even try to get into the 40s.
He's going to go crazy.
And I think LeBron might have 24, 25, and I think AD might get close to 30 if he's having a good night. But I know that's not everything, but I just see Steph Curry going out there and just making everything. And we know when he's doing that, the other team doesn't have a chance.
The Lakers have to scheme out.
Yeah. The Lakers are going to have to do a lot of planning.
All right. For the sake of not going on too long, we got Lakers versus Dallas. Lakers versus Dallas. Clippers versus Dallas.
Clippers versus Dallas. Clippers. Yeah, Clippers easily.
I think it just comes down to which team is more talented.
Yeah.
Luka's been playing a little bit sloppy. He needs to. I think it's not the same as a 1-game series anymore, right? We've moved on to the 7-game slate.
Right.
So it comes down to attrition. I mean, Dallas is going to quite literally have to be the more consistent team over a 7-game series. And I think with the way that Luka's been playing, even if he tightens up, it's pretty unrealistic at this stage. I think the Clippers are coming out with something to prove. As you said in the unreleased podcast that we did before there were the official playoff predictions, Paul George has been playing terrifically this year.
Yeah.
This Clippers team has looked pretty solid as opposed to last year. So
I just don't think Paul George is going to go down like that again.
No, absolutely not. I think that's what I'm saying. I think this entire team has something to prove, that they're not going to be bitched around.
Yeah, and they played last year in the bubble too, in the playoffs last year, and the Clippers pretty much wiped the floor with Dallas. I mean, Luka had his moments for sure,
it wasn't enough. I think it's the same thing again this year.
I agree. I definitely agree.
Excuse me. We've got
who's next?
Denver versus Portland.
That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
That's hard. That could really go either way.
Because Dame's another one, man, where if he decides he wants to take control, he might not. Again, I think with everything, like we were talking about this Russell Westbrook debate, we were going back. There's a spectrum, right?
Yep.
Certain guys can affect games, in my personal opinion, more than others can.
Yeah.
Dame has that same gene. Is it as pronounced as guys like Steph, LeBron? No.
Right.
But he has it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, over a 7-game series against a talented team like Denver that has scoring, I got to give that to Denver. I have to see how Portland does, though.
Yeah, this is one of those series that really, I think that if Portland won, I would be surprised. I think Denver is the better team. I think they have the advantage. They have the MVP candidate on them. So I think that Denver is just going to outlast Portland. I think Portland could come out. They could win 2 games in a row straight off the bat, but I think Denver is just going to, they're going to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if Dame doesn't drop 49 one night, I mean, Denver wins that, so.
Yeah. It's going to be very tough. It's going to be an uphill battle for Portland for sure.
Yeah, for
sure.
sure.
No doubt about it.
Yep.
Okay. We've got New York Knicks versus the Atlanta Hawks.
Knicks.
Yeah.
Knicks, easily.
Yeah. Easily? I don't know about easily, but something in my heart is telling me Knicks, man. They've been so gritty and so successful this season. We got to stop viewing this team as... I don't think anyone really views this team as a bandwagon anymore, or as a wagon or a train or whatever they call it. I think we're starting to view this team as the competitive fight, grimy type of get-in-your-face defensively talented team that they are.
They had the better record this season than the Hawks. They did.
Well, I mean, I know I bring in numbers sometimes, but I never want to be a numbers guy.
Oh, well, I mean, they had the same exact record, but the Knicks beat the Hawks before, so.
Okay. I'm never the guy. I don't think numbers should be brought into a conversation like that.
No, I know.
I think there's certain circumstances that numbers obviously can't track, and I think there's certain, team morale. Think about that coming to the playoffs. This is the first time the Knicks have been in the playoffs in God knows how long. How long has it been?
It's been since 2013, I believe.
So these guys are going to be hungry.
They've only made it to the second round, I believe, once in the last 20 years.
So these guys are going to be coming out hungry.
Yeah.
Atlanta has this new fancy team to play with, so they're going to be hungry in the same way.
Yeah.
Knicks, though, they've shown too much resilience this year, and they've even gotten some big wins against some high-profile teams. Man, I gotta go Knicks.
I gotta say Knicks, yeah.
I gotta go Knicks.
And it's if I'm taking the fact that I am a Knicks fan out of it, I just think that they're the better team. I just think on paper and when they're playing, I think they're more cohesive. I think they're a better unit, whereas the Hawks are going to rely on Trae Young a lot for their offense, and I think that's fair enough. The Knicks are going to rely a lot on Julius Randle, but I think that the Knicks will have more people scoring, more people doing their jobs. I think they're just an all-around better team.
I actually think that Atlanta might have the more cohesive and talented unit, but what it comes down to me with the Knicks is Tom Thibodeau has coached the hell out of that team.
Yeah.
Like, insane.
Right.
They are going to play more cohesive ball. They're going to be, like you said, moving the ball around, shooting the three, getting turnovers, turning them into buckets. Great defense turns into great offense. I think that's where the Knicks' bread and butter is going to lie. Nerlens Noel getting blocks. Like you said, Julius Randle going off. It might be a little bit challenging for the Knicks, but I think the Knicks, I'd still consider them underdogs, but I still think they get it done. I think they're going to come out and they're going to be victorious simply because of those things that numbers can't track.
Right.
I hope that makes sense.
No, it does. It does.
Okay, we've got Milwaukee at Miami.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
So we saw this last year. Obviously, our shorts were blown off last year.
Our socks were blown all the way off.
Yeah, our socks were off our feet, man, for sure. Really, I can't sleep at night and pick the Heat over the Bucks.
You can't
do that.
You can't do it.
It's impossible.
You really can't do it. No, you can't.
But you can't discount what happened last year. I mean, the Heat came out there and they tore them up. They really did. They ate them up.
They lost Depot this year, but essentially that's almost the same squad as last year.
I think it's just the same exact matchup, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, no, the Milwaukee bolstered defensively.
Yeah.
And they're looking good this year. Again, Giannis has improved, and I guess Milwaukee as a team has improved that they can get it done in the playoffs yet.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's gonna be interesting for sure.
I gotta go Bucks though. I agree.
I can't sleep at night and pick the Heat over the Bucks. I couldn't do it last year either, and look how wrong I was.
Yeah.
But
we're bound to get something wrong on this bracket here.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I think we already got a couple wrong. But
100%, dude.
Yeah. I think that Jimmy's gonna go out there. He's gonna play really, really well. I think he's gonna leave everything on the floor. I just don't think Giannis is gonna go down like that 2 times in a row. I think the Heat know that. I think the Bucks know that.
Yeah.
I think that we have a clear winner.
Yeah, the Bucks for sure. All right, well that is it. We've got a couple of other matchups. Obviously, the first seeds, the second seeds, they all got. I think it's buys here. Yeah. So whoever wins.
Utah and Philly.
Yeah, Utah, Philly, Brooklyn, and Phoenix.
Yeah. Phoenix is a hell of a team too.
They've been going crazy this year. Chris Paul walking playoff spot, as we've always said on this podcast.
Who does Phoenix play the winner of? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Phoenix plays the winner of. So it's the loser of. This is a very complicated graph. I think it's a complicated chart. I think whoever wins the play-in between 7 and 8 goes on to play Phoenix. Right, because that makes sense. Yeah, because it's 7 and 8. Okay, so they play. So either the Lakers or the Golden State Warriors will play Phoenix. As I'm reading it here, guys, I apologize if I'm getting this wrong. Memphis or San Antonio will either play Utah. Indiana or Charlotte will either play Philly. And either Boston or the Washington Wizards will play Brooklyn.
I think that Golden State or Lakers beat Phoenix, in my opinion.
No. I think the Lakers have the better chance, but I don't think there's a chance in hell that Golden State's.
Really?
I don't know. I think Phoenix has been. I mean, the Lakers are one thing because they kind of lost some momentum this year, and LeBron might be getting a little bit back into the swing of things. But Phoenix has just been straight through the year on fire.
No, I know they've been playing very well.
I think maybe the Lakers, if they pick up some steam right, and LeBron gets acclimated, they get a win over the Golden State Warriors. He's feeling like himself. they get a 7-game series for LeBron to get back. We know LeBron likes to give up series early and then kind of come back and get acclimated. I think the Lakers have a far better chance, but Golden State going up against a team like Phoenix, I just don't know. But like, walk me through that because I want to understand why you think. And that's not like
no, I know, I understand.
I'm genuinely like curious.
I think that Phoenix is a little bit unexperienced. I think that you got Chris Paul, who's a hell of a point guard. I think that he's going to go out and do stuff. I don't think he could carry it by himself. Same thing with Devin Booker. I think that he could either be super hot or super cold. Well, not really super cold. I think he's going to do mediocre to very well. I see Steph Curry going out there. I see Steph Curry just not. He's literally had one of the best years of his life. One of the best seasons of his life. I think his numbers this season were better than his MVP seasons. I just don't see him going out there and underperforming in any respect. And then the Lakers, I think you're right. I think it's going to depend on whether or not LeBron gets acclimated. Yeah. The reason I took Golden State over the Lakers is just because personally I don't think that both those men can come back from injuries and just start playing the best basketball like they were last year. It's possible, but I just don't really see it right now.
Yeah.
But I don't see Phoenix having an answer for either AD or LeBron.
Very interesting. I think Phoenix definitely. I think they rise to the occasion. And with that, did you want to? We're good for today?
I'm good. No, yeah, I got my rocks off.
Alrighty. Thanks. Thank you guys for listening. This has been episode. I think it's 53. I think it's 53 of the show. Stay tuned tomorrow. We're going to be filming the Jacob Cooperman show. I wanted to bring in a new little segment, so stay tuned for that. We will see you guys
in the next one.
In the next
Peace
episode.
out, guys.
Peace.